Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
All right, let's take it from the top again. Places. Action.
Well, let's see. We have on the bags, we have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know is on third.
That's what I want to find out.
I say who's on first, what's on second, I don't know is on third.
Are you the manager?
Yes.
You going to be the coach, too?
Yes.
And you know the fellow's name?
Well, I should.
Well, then who's on first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name.
Who?
The guy on first.
Who?
The first baseman.
Who?
The guy playing first.
Who is on first?
I'm asking you who's on first.
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
That's it.
That's who?
Yes.
Join us for another voyage back in time on Classic Radio Rewind. From adventures to westerns, from comedy to sci-fi, this is your ticket to Theater of the Mind. Without any further ado, here's your host for Classic Radio Rewind, Barry Slinker.
Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Classic Radio Rewind. I'm Barry Slinker, and we are going to have a fun 2-hour trip back to the golden age of radio. We have a fantastic lineup for you this week, as we will hear from a couple of rare radio series this week. Later, we will hear from Luke Slaughter of Tombstone, 1958, followed by an episode from John Steele Adventurer from 1949, and finally, an episode from Superman from 1949. But starting us off this week is an episode from The Fat Man starring J. Scott Smart. Brad Runyon is hired by a man to find out why his wife is meeting with another man. From July 8th, 1947, this is The Fat Man in Black Angel.
Weight, 237 pounds. Fortune, danger. Who is it?
The Fat Man.
The American Broadcasting Company brings you the adventures of Dashiell Hammett's latest and most fascinating character, the Fat Man, a fast-moving criminologist who tips the scales at 237 pounds. Tonight's adventure, the Black Angel. And now, here is the Fat Man.
A fat man is not supposed to have the physical endurance and staying power of the thinner, leaner boys. When he lugs that extra weight around, he loses his wind quicker and his muscles tire faster. If you've ever made a forced march with 50 or 60 pounds of equipment on your back, you know what I mean about a fat man's extra weight. But quick thinking will save a tremendous amount of energy. And a fat man has to save his energy in my business because you need every bit of it when you're fighting with a murderer. It's funny how much you can tell about a person at a glance, especially if you've trained yourself to take in everything. I liked this guy the minute he walked in my office, and I felt sorry for him. I liked him because his eyes were honest and intelligent. He was in his late 30s, nice-looking without being handsome. His conservative, well-made clothes told me he had a commuter's ticket in his pocket and a growing bank account he'd earned himself. I felt sorry for him as he stood in front of my desk because I'd seen the same expression on the face of a soldier in Belgium when his wife wrote him she wanted a divorce. He didn't waste any time, and I knew he was telling the truth.
Mr. Runyon, my name is Atchison, John Atchison.
Sit down, Mr. Atchison.
Oh, thanks. I hope you'll understand.
I always try to. What's the trouble?
I don't like this sort of thing. I don't like anything sneaky or underhanded, but there's nothing else I can do. I can't stand it any longer. It's driving me crazy. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I walked around the block 4 times before I could make myself come in.
Wife trouble?
Why, yes. How did you know?
There are a lot of wives and a lot of husbands. You'd be surprised how many of them come in here.
Yes, I suppose so. I suppose it's an old story. I guess I'm a fool, but I never thought it could happen to me.
Another man?
Well, I'm not sure. Don't you see? That's the trouble. I'm not sure. I know there's somebody, but I've got to find out the truth. I've got to know before I lose my mind.
Have you asked your wife about it?
Oh, no, of course not. Don't you understand? I love Peggy. I love her more than anything in the world, and I've always trusted her. If I were wrong, I could never forgive myself.
I understand. You want me to find out who this guy is and what's going on?
Yes. I simply want to know the truth.
Maybe hard to take.
I can take it.
Okay, Atchison. Now, tell me why you're suspicious. What's happened?
It started only 3 days ago. I came home early. Peggy was talking on the telephone, and she didn't hear me come in. I heard her say, "But, Angel, John mustn't know." I was stunned. I couldn't believe my ears. And then she said, All right. I'll meet you in the same place at 9 tonight.
Did she know you'd hurt her?
Oh, no. I waited a few minutes, then walked in. She seemed flustered and surprised that I was home early, but said nothing about the phone call. That night, she said she was going to see her girlfriend.
You didn't try to follow her?
Oh, no. I couldn't bring myself to that. Besides, I kept hoping that I'd been mistaken, that maybe she hadn't said that at all.
Never had any reason to suspect her before, eh?
Never.
It's just possible, Atchison, that what you heard her say on the phone might have had a different meaning from what you suspect.
Oh, but how could it?
How long have you been married?
Not quite a year.
What do you know about your wife's past?
Why, actually, I know very little about her past life. I never questioned her. She has no family, and...
Where'd you meet her?
Oh, she was the cashier in one of those dance halls, a place called the Tropical Gardens. Oh, I know what you're thinking, Runyon, but you're wrong. I used to be lonely, and, well, I went there sometimes. She wasn't like the others. We fell in love and got married.
I see. You know, it might not be another man at all, Atchison. It might be something worse.
What?
Blackmail.
Blackmail? I hadn't thought of that. That might explain...
Explain what?
The money.
What money?
The $300 that's missing from our savings account.
Say, you fat men sure know how to dance, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing you here in the gardens before. You're a new one, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
You aren't very talkative, are you?
Not usually. Are you?
What do you mean by that? Of course I like to talk.
Well, that's swell. Maybe you can tell me something.
What?
Do you remember a girl named Peggy that used to work here? She was a cashier.
Sure, I remember Peggy. Why?
Well, I'm trying to find her, and I thought maybe somebody here could tell me something about her.
Hey, wait a minute, mister. Who are you trying to kid?
Nobody, sweetheart. I'm related to her. The folks think something has happened to her. I thought maybe I could find out who her friends were when she were here, or if she'd had any trouble.
Boy, you kill me.
Yeah?
Yeah, you never saw Peg in your life.
What makes you think so?
Because she's sitting right over there at that table in the corner.
Oh, the girl sitting alone?
Yeah, that's Peg. There was a guy with her a minute ago, but he ain't there now. Say, what's your racket anyway?
I'm a Hollywood talent scout, sister. Here, buy yourself a new mink coat.
A talent scout?
Hello, Peggy.
What?
Don't you remember me?
Why, no. I used to meet so many men here.
Well, you didn't meet me here.
Where did I meet you?
I'm a friend of John's.
John's?
Yeah. Mind if I sit down?
Please. He'll be right back in a minute, and...
Who's he?
Listen, I don't know your name, but if you're a friend of John's, you'll forget you saw me here tonight, and you'll never tell him.
Why? Because what a husband doesn't know won't hurt him?
No. You don't understand, and I can't explain.
Are you in trouble?
Yes.
Maybe I can help you.
No, I don't think so. I don't think anyone can help me.
Well, tell me about it.
No. Not now, not here.
Where then?
Meet me tomorrow at the Primrose Bar at 1 o'clock.
Okay, honey, but be there. You don't show up, I'm going to have a talk with your husband.
I'll be there. But please, please, John mustn't know anything about this. He mustn't know anything at all.
Why not?
Because if he found out, he might be murdered.
Runyon?
Yeah.
Pleased to meet you, Runyon. I've heard about you. My name's Caldwell. I'm an operative from San Francisco. Maybe you've heard of me.
Not that I recall, but there's something familiar about you.
I had a bad break not long ago. I did my job too well and got my mug plastered all over a lot of newspapers. Maybe you saw my picture.
Maybe. Could be that.
It's hurt my work a lot. Too many people know me.
Fame does have its drawbacks.
Yeah.
You're a long way from home, Caldwell.
That's why I came to see you, Runyon.
Oh? Here on a job?
That's right. I've got no connections here, and I might need a little help. I thought maybe you'd like to give it to me. There might be a lot of dough in it for you.
How much is a lot?
Say $5,000?
That is a lot of money, Caldwell.
Yeah, for $5,000, a man is a sucker to ask too many questions.
You know, that's a funny thing, Caldwell. That's exactly what I think.
We're going to get along swell.
Sure. Now, tell me about the job.
Well, about a couple of weeks ago, a guy comes into my office and makes me a proposition. It seems a pal of his disappeared with $100,000 in cash, and half of it belonged to my client. He wanted me to find his pal.
Where did the $100,000 come from?
I don't know, but let's just say it was dropped by a careless bank messenger, and these two guys found it lying in the street.
Finders keepers,
Yeah.
And now you want to shed the client and do a little finders keepers on your own?
That's the general idea. After all, the dough doesn't belong to either of them. The client's out on the coast. The climate here doesn't agree with them.
You found this client's pal, the guy with the dough?
I found him. He's here in town, registered in a hotel under a phony name.
And the money, you think he's got it with him?
I think he's got it hidden somewhere in his hotel room.
Where do I come in? And why, if there's $100,000 in it, do I only get $5?
A minute ago, that was a lot of money.
That was a minute ago.
It's still enough for what I want you to do. I'll do the tough part.
What's the easy part?
All you do is get this guy out of the hotel and keep him out until I can give the room a good going over and get the dough.
Oh, it does sound easy.
It's a cinch. Once I get the money out of the room, we're safe. He can't go to the police.
What about your client?
Don't worry about him.
Well, how do I know you won't cross me up?
You don't know it. You just have to trust me.
I don't like it.
It'd be a sap to pass up such an easy $5,000. I won't cross you.
Well, how do you know I won't go to the cops for this story?
What good would it do? You don't know these two guys? Besides, there's another good reason why you won't do that.
What's the other reason?
This gun in my pocket.
Oh, you play rough,
Plenty rough. Well, how about it? Is it a deal?
Okay. Count me in.
That's better. Meet me at 8 o'clock tonight at the corner of 50th and 8th Avenue.
What's the guy's name and what hotel's he in?
Do I look like a sap? I'll tell you at 8 tonight.
Okay.
I'll see you at 8 then.
Yeah. Hello?
Hello, Brad. This is O'Hara.
Yeah? What's on your mind?
Listen, Brad. You remember a gang of bank robbers operating in the Middle West a couple of years ago, led by a guy named Angel Black?
Yeah. I remember something about it. Didn't the papers call him the Black Angel?
That's right. If you remember, he was caught and sent up for life, but one member of the gang, a fellow called Snyder, was never pulled in, and the loot from a couple of bank jobs was never found.
Hey, wait a minute, O'Hara. What about this guy, Angel Black?
Well, he escaped from prison about a week ago, and we just got a tip he's somewhere in this vicinity. I want you to keep your eyes open for him.
What's he look like?
Well, he's short, heavy set, jet black hair, and I
It's not black anymore, O'Hara. It's red. And he's wearing a red mustache.
What are you talking about? How do you know?
He just left my office about 2 minutes ago. You're late.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry, but I had to be careful. I was afraid I might be followed.
Your husband?
No. The man I was with last night. You saw him, didn't you? He has red hair and a red mustache.
No, not last night.
But I don't understand. He saw you at my table. When you left, he walked after you. Didn't he speak to you?
No, but 2 and 2 are rapidly making 4.
What do you mean?
I think your friend followed me home last night. How did you get mixed up with Angel Black, Mrs. Atchison?
You know him? You know who he is?
Yeah.
But how?
Never mind that.
No, you've got to tell me. How did you know it was the angel? Don't you see he's desperate?
He came to see me this morning.
What did he say? What did he want?
Made me a proposition.
Oh, you shouldn't have sat at my table last night. Don't you understand it's a trap? He'll kill you. He'll kill John, too. That's why John mustn't know.
You still haven't told me where you come in on this business.
I used to know the guy. I was his girl. We were going to be married.
Were you one of his gang?
No. At least I never knowingly was. I didn't know the truth about him. When I found out, it was too late. He made me go with him when things got too hot. They finally got him and sent him up. I never went back home. I came here and got a job in the tropical gardens.
How did Angel find you?
I don't know. It was 4 nights ago. I'd gone down to the drugstore for something and was walking home. The street was dark and deserted.
Hello, Peg.
What? Who are you?
Don't you recognize me, Peggy?
Angel.
Yeah. Who else? Let me look at you.
But, Angel, how did you get...
Never mind that, baby. I'm out, and I've come back for
No,
you.
no, Angel, don't, please.
For 2 years, I've been waiting for this.
Let go of me.
Hey, wait a minute. What's the idea?
No, Angel. Please, don't you understand? I'm married now. I'm happy. I've tried to forget all that.
You're not forgetting anything, baby. You're leaving with me. They won't get me again. Listen, Peg, I know where the money is.
Money?
Yeah, 100 grand. They never found it because that rat Snyder got away with it, but I found him. He's registered here in the city at the Gilroy Hotel under the name of Cooley. He's got the money with him in cash.
How do you know?
Word gets around, even in jail.
But the police, they'll find you.
Oh, no, they won't. That's where you're going to help me.
No, I told you that's all over.
Listen and get this straight. If you like this guy you're married to, you'd better do what I say.
You wouldn't.
Wouldn't I? Now then, I need some dough to get some clothes and dye my hair. You're going to give it to me.
But...
If you want your husband to keep his health, you'll have it for me tomorrow. And don't try any funny business or you'll get it, too.
All right, I'll get you some money, but afterwards...
Afterwards, you're coming with me. After I knock off Snyder and get the dough.
Kill?
Yeah. And anybody else who gets in my way. Don't you forget it.
Next day, I gave him $300. And then last night, he insisted I meet him again.
You're sure it's the Gilroy Hotel Snyder is hiding in?
Yes. What can I do? What if John finds out?
Just sit tight and play along with Angel. Agree with anything he says. Personally, I don't think you'll hear from him again.
Why not?
Because tonight he's planning to kill Snyder, get the money, and then kill me. Yeah, this is it, O'Hara. Hotel Gilroy.
Yeah, cheesy-looking dump, isn't it?
Yeah. Nevertheless, let's go in. Hey, clerk. What room is Mr. Cooley in?
510, top floor.
Is he in now?
How should I know?
Is his key in the box?
No. I guess he's in.
Come over here closer.
Yeah, what's the matter?
Look.
Oh, please.
That's right.
Listen, this is a respectable hotel. We don't want no trouble.
Neither do we. Give us the pass key.
Oh, okay. Here.
There may be some shooting upstairs. Keep everybody off the 5th floor till we come down.
Yeah, sure. Say, what's this guy Cooley done?
Never mind. Come on, O'Hara.
All right. Five. What time is it, Brad?
10 after 3.
The other one was to meet you at 8 tonight?
Mm-hmm.
5 hours from now.
Well, here we are. 5:10. It's down this way. Get out your gun.
Don't worry.
Here it is. Easy now.
He's not in.
I don't know. Wait a second. Open up, Cooley. If you don't, we're coming in shooting. Come on.
Brad, look.
No wonder he didn't answer.
What a mess.
See if it's Cooley.
Yeah. The back of his head smashed like an egg. So Angel got here first after all.
Maybe it was an Angel.
Of course it was. Look at this room. He really tore it apart.
Looking for the money. I wonder if he found it.
He must have. Not much money in cash would be hard to hide. Hey, what are you going through his pockets for?
I'm looking for the key to this room. Hasn't got it on him. I wonder...
What?
Listen, O'Hara. I want you to do something, and I don't want you to ask any questions.
What is it, Brad?
Forget that we've been here.
Forget it. Are you nuts?
You've got to forget it. Only for the time being, though. I've got a hunch this business isn't over yet.
But I can't do that.
Sure you can. I'm going to lock this door and give the pass key back to the clerk downstairs. As far as he's concerned, Cooley wasn't here.
But what about the maid?
It's too late for the maid. Nobody will find this body until tomorrow morning. That is, nobody who'll care to report it. Quick, O'Hara. Over here in this doorway.
You're crazy to try and pull this alone, Brad. I shouldn't let you do it.
Now, take it easy. I know what I'm doing. Angel's no fool, and he can spot cops a mile away. If you had men planted near me, he'd never make his play. This way, I can get him for you alive.
But you said yourself he was gunning for you.
Not the way you think, O'Hara. That's why I wanted you to keep quiet about Snyder's murder.
I don't get it.
I think he's going to try and frame Snyder's murder on me.
On you?
Sure. Don't you see? It'd be a cinch. That is, it would have been if we hadn't already found the body. As long as he thinks I'm a dumb dick trying to pick up an easy $5,000, he can't miss.
Why?
He'll meet me, send me up to the room, supposedly to get Snyder out. Then he'll tip the police.
Oh, I get it.
Sure, they'd catch me there red-handed.
Yeah, but suppose the girl tips him off that you know who he is.
That's a chance I've got to take. For the time being, I'm betting she's on the level. Everything ought to go okay, unless...
Unless what?
Unless Angel didn't kill Snyder.
But you don't think...
It's a possibility. Okay, O'Hara, it's nearly 8. Stay here in this doorway. I'm going to walk down there now and meet Angel. Don't show yourself. But if we start walking, follow us and be sure he doesn't spot you.
Okay, Brad, but be careful.
Hello, Runyon.
Yeah, you're right on time.
There's an alley over here. Let's walk down there.
Oh, why the alley?
We can talk better there.
Okay. What's the deal?
You got a gun on you?
Yeah, why?
I just wondered. You might need it.
I don't like guns. That wasn't in the deal.
I know, but this Cooley's a tough baby.
Cooley?
Yeah, that's his name. Now, listen. Here's what I want you to do. He's living on a little cheap hotel, the Gilroy. It's on Clover Street. His room is 510.
How do you know if he'll be there?
I don't know for sure, but he never goes out. That's why I needed help on a deal, to get him out of the room.
Oh, I get it.
You go over there and bust in his room. Got a pass key?
Sure.
Good. Don't knock. Just go right in. Act tough. Tell him you're the house dick, that the manager wants to talk to him about his bill or something. When you get him downstairs, call him Mr. Jones. He'll say that isn't his name. You've made a mistake. Apologize and insist on buying him a drink.
It sounds simple enough, doesn't it?
Sure. In the meantime,
No, Angel. Stop.
Somebody's coming.
No. You
Shut
killed
up,
him.
you fool. He isn't dead. I slugged him. What's the idea of following me?
Bring it.
Quick, come on. It's a trap.
That's what I...
Come on.
Stop! Brad, are you all right?
Yeah, I think so. He slugged me when the girl...
Yeah, I saw her run down here. She must be in it with him. She came to warn him.
Hey, they get away?
Yeah.
Come on.
Where are we going?
Back to the Gilroy Hotel.
Why?
Because I think the $100,000 is still hidden somewhere in Snyder's room.
What makes you think the killer didn't find the money?
Two things, O'Hara. In the first place, the key to the room is missing. The murderer kept it so he could get back in the room later, after the murder had been discovered and the body had been removed.
Well, what's the other reason?
The fact that Angel was so anxious to frame the murder on me. If he'd gotten the money, he wouldn't have bothered with me.
But he came to you before he killed Snyder.
Yeah, but when he first came to me, I think he was planning to kill me in the alley.
But why?
Because he'd seen me talking to the girl the night before, and he knew I was a detective. But later, when he couldn't find the money, that he decided to frame me for Snyder's murder.
Yeah, but where is the money? The place had been torn apart. It wasn't in the room.
That's what I mean, O'Hara. Well, here we are.
All right.
Come on.
Hey, I wonder what's the matter. All the people running toward the side of the hotel.
I don't know. Oh, here comes the room clerk. What's the matter back there?
Fellow in 510 just jumped out the window. Say, aren't you
yeah.
the six?
Quick, O'Hara.
Let's go here.
Stand back. I'm from police headquarters.
Why, that's not Mr. Cooley.
No, it's Angel Black, and he's dead.
But what could have happened? Mr. Cooley murdered right in this room, and this red-headed man dead?
Never mind that. You say this red-headed guy came in with a girl about 15 minutes before you heard the crowd yelling outside?
Yeah, it may have been less than that.
And this other guy, the one who came in after them?
Well, he seemed nervous. He was nice-looking, about 35. He asked what room Mr. Cooley was in. I told him, and he went up. Several minutes later, I heard the noise outside and went out, and, well, you know the rest.
Oh, wait a minute. Who was this third guy, Brad?
Must have been Atchison, the girl's husband.
What was he doing here?
No, he must have followed his wife, or Angel.
Oh, well, then it's plain enough to me, Brad.
Yeah?
Sure. Angel and the girl go up here to Snyder's room. He finds the money. The girl's husband comes in. They have a fight, and Angel gets shoved out the window. The girl and her husband take the money and beat it during the confusion downstairs.
That's a good story, O'Hara. But that isn't what happened.
Well, the money's gone, and it wasn't on Angel when he was shoved out the window.
He wasn't shoved, O'Hara.
Are you trying to tell me he committed suicide?
No, it was an accident.
An accident? Are you nuts? The girl and her husband killed him for the money.
They couldn't have done that, O'Hara.
Why not?
Because the money is still where Cooley hid it.
Where?
Come over here by the window. Look, O'Hara, on that little ledge around the corner.
Well, I'll be... A briefcase?
Yeah, and it's got the money in it.
Then Angel must have been trying to reach it. You see, you can't reach it from here. You'd have to climb out onto the ledge.
Yeah.
He must have seen the briefcase and climbed out to get it. The girl saw a chance and shoved him over. We'd better get out an alarm to pull her in right away.
Now, hold it, O'Hara. The only thing that girl did was try to save her husband's life and happiness. She loved her husband, O'Hara.
But still, she must have shoved...
Look here. See how slick this ledge is? The guy slipped as he was reaching for the money.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right at that.
Sure I am. He was in a hurry, O'Hara, and he fell. And a black angel doesn't have wings.
Next week at this time, the American Broadcasting Company brings you another adventure of Dashiell Hammett's exciting new character, the Fat Man. Next week's story is called The Skull's Ballroom. And as the Fat Man says,
a ballroom is usually a gay, carefree place filled with happy, dancing couples. But this isn't true of the Skull's Ballroom. There, the couples are ghosts of the past, and the slow waltz they do is the dance of death.
tonight's adventure of the Fat Man, played by J. Scott Smart, was produced by Charles Powers. Music was under the direction of Bernard Green. Sergeant O'Hara is played by Ed Begley. This is Gene Kirby speaking. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
That was Black Angel from The Fat Man, starring J. Scott Smart, as originally heard July 8, 1947. Next up on Classic Radio Rewind is an episode from Luke Slaughter of Tombstone. In the series opener, Slaughter guarantees he will bring a cattle herd to Tombstone despite the threats of rustlers and a spy among the ranks of his cowboys. So from February 23, 1958, this is Luke Slaughter of Tombstone with the episode titled Duel on the Trail.
Slaughter's my name. Luke Slaughter. Cattle's my business. It's a tough business. It's a big business. I got a big stake in it. And there's no man west of the Rio Grande big enough to take it from me.
Luke Slaughter of Tombstone. Luke Slaughter of Tombstone, Civil War cavalryman turned Arizona cattleman. Across the territory from Yuma to Fort Defiance, from Flagstaff to the Huachucas, and below the border through Chihuahua and Sonora, his name was respected, or feared, depending on which side of the law you were on. Man of vision, man of legend, Luke Slaughter of Tombstone.
It was a long, hot ride to Laredo. The last day I pushed it hard, eating dust all the way. I didn't know if I'd be in time or not. But when I rode up to the cantina in town and went inside, I saw I was. Barely in time. The two of them were sitting at a corner table. From the sound of it, the deal was just about closed.
Over, Wilkins. Me and my boys will bring that herd up across the border for you in good shape.
Well, I hope so, Hancock. The association's pretty worried about all the trouble we've had on these drives before.
Excuse me, gents. You Ben Wilkins?
Why, yes.
President of the Cattlemen's Association?
Yes, that's right. I don't think I know you.
Look, mister, we're talking business.
That's why I'm here, Hancock.
How come you know my name?
Wilkins, I understand you're aiming to bring a herd of cattle up from Mexico into Texas.
Well, what's that to you?
You're missing a good bet. Why don't you drive them west, to Arizona?
Arizona?
That's right. Haven't you heard about the new mines opening up around Tombstone? Everybody and his brother's headed out there, and they all gotta eat. That means a good market for beef. A lot better price than you get around here.
He's crazy, Wilkins. That's too far to drive a herd.
Hell, it's sure too dangerous anyway. Why, there's banditos, rustlers, even Indians, maybe.
I took a herd out there last month. There wasn't near enough to take care of all those beef-eating miners. I'll drive your herd out there for you, for a percentage.
Now, you just shut that big mouth of yours, mister, whoever you are. I'm the one drives Wilkins' herds, wherever they go.
Oh. Wilkins, you can't afford Jess Hancock anymore.
No,
What do you mean?
The last herd he brought across the border for you. How many did he, lose along the way?
Why, 43 head.
Could have happened to anyone. Banditos, that's what it was.
Mexican bandits, huh? Here's a bill of sale. Might interest you, Wilkins. Seems last week a rancher named Hollister bought 43 head in good faith. Paid for 'em proper. Man who sold 'em was Jess Hancock.
What?
That's a lie.
Take a look, Wilkins. That Hancock signature?
Wow. It sure is.
Nobody's gonna accuse me of rustling.
Don't try it, Hancock. I can kick that gun out of your hand before you get it loose from the holster.
You just try it, mister.
You convinced, Hancock?
Who are you, mister?
Slaughter. Luke Slaughter.
Oh, I've heard of you, Mr. Slaughter, but I didn't know you was in these parts.
You don't have to mister me, Wilkins. Just Slaughter's good enough.
Hancock, the association's going to hear about this. If those are the same 43
You
head,
got no proof.
We'll see about that. Slaughter, you said Arizona, huh?
A lot of hungry miners in Tombstone.
Bigger price, huh?
Half again as much.
Meet me back here in an hour. You got yourself a job.
I'll be here, Wilkins.
You hear me, Slaughter. I don't care what your reputation is. You ain't gonna beat me out of this. I'll stop you.
Here I am, Hancock. And now's as good a time as any. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can talk mighty tall with my gun laying there on the floor.
Oh, yeah. Your gun. There it is, Hancock. And I'm just as far from that table it's sitting on as you are. Now go ahead.
There's other ways, Slaughter. There's other ways.
Now, look, Slaughter, when you signed for this job, you guaranteed me 6 good trail hands. I didn't know you were just going to pick 'em cold out of the bar here.
What's the difference, Wilkins? If they're not good hands now, they will be by the time we get to Tombstone. I'll see to that.
Yeah, I guess you will. How many you got so far?
2 Mexican boys who know the country pretty well, and a cook.
It still leaves you 3 shy.
I'll get 'em.
Say, mister, your name's Slaughter?
Yeah.
Mine's Rusty. I hear you're looking for trail hands.
Maybe. You ever been to Tombstone?
Not with a herd. Didn't know anybody had.
This'll be the second.
But I've been almost every place else you can take a herd, I guess. Dodge City, Cheyenne, the Panhandle, you name it.
All right, I'll take you.
You the one that's hiring, mister?
That's right. But you look a little old for the drive I've got in mind. Tombstone's a long way.
Don't worry about that none. I'll keep up.
What's your name?
They call me Wichita.
All right, Wichita, you're on.
Got a room for one more, Slaughter?
Who are you, son?
Name's Carson. Jim Carson.
You ever ridden trail before?
No, but I don't figure it'd be too tough. Besides, Slaughter, I come in handy when there's trouble.
Oh? How about when there's work?
I'll work. I need the money. I want to buy me a gun.
You already got a gun.
I want to get me another one.
All right, I'll put you on. You say your name was Jimmy?
It's not Jimmy, it's Jim. I don't like being called Jimmy.
Go get your stuff together, Jimmy.
I guess you didn't hear me, Slaughter. I said I don't like being
You
called
want to come along or don't you?
I want to come.
Then get moving, Jimmy.
I don't like that one, Slaughter. He's on the prod.
Could be, Wilkins.
Why take a chance with him, then? I don't want any trouble with this herd.
Now, just a minute, Wilkins. I didn't guarantee no trouble. Matter of fact, I'd be surprised if there wasn't. I guarantee just one thing, to bring that herd through. That you can count on.
I've seen young punks like him before, Slaughter. They go around with a chip on their shoulder trying to show how tough they are. He probably heard about you.
What about me, Wichita?
Well, no offense. You got a kind of reputation, that's all. punk like that, sooner or later, he'll probably want to find out how tough you are.
Maybe.
I heard him shooting off his mouth at the bar earlier about how he'd gunned down a couple of men here and there.
Oh?
I bet he's awful green on the trail, though.
You can show him the ropes, Rusty. Maybe the trail will take some of the toughness out of him. Anyway, I need what men we can get. He goes with us.
You're the boss. Where are we heading from here?
Delgado, little town below the border. That's where we pick up the herd.
When we leaving?
As soon as we saddle up.
Tonight?
Yeah. We should be able to hit the trail with the cattle tomorrow afternoon. Make a few miles toward Tombstone before dark.
Well, what's the hurry?
There's a man named Jess Hancock wouldn't mind making a little trouble for me. I want that herd all in one piece. To start with, anyway.
Pretty good-looking herd, Rusty.
Yeah, but no herd's worth pounding leather like we did all the way down here to Delgado.
Slaughter said he wanted to make it by this afternoon. He did.
Where is he, anyway?
Signing the papers over there at the pens.
I don't see why we can't hang around town tonight, leave in the morning.
Well, why not take it up with the boss? Here he comes.
You think you're pretty funny, don't you, Wichita?
Just once in a while, son.
Well, I guess we're all ready. Rusty, how about the cook?
Oh, he's got all the grub loaded in the chuck wagon, ready to roll.
Good.
Senor.
What?
You're Slaughter?
Yeah, who are you?
I'm Carlota. You are going to Arizona?
Yeah, Tombstone. Why?
Take me with you.
What?
I want to get away from this place. I want to go to Arizona. Please take me with you.
Sorry.
What are you doing here, Carlotta? Come on, back to the cantina where you belong.
Well, Jess Hancock. How come you're down here?
This is my stamping ground, Slaughter. Or was. I ain't forgot.
I didn't figure you had.
First you take my job, now you try to take my girl.
Now, just a minute, Hancock. Don't get things any more twisted up than you can help.
Get moving, Carlotta.
You leave me alone. Get out!
I hope you have a real pleasant trip to Tombstone, Slaughter.
I better have.
Getting pretty dark, Slaughter. Don't you reckon we'd better get that herd bedded down for the night?
A little further.
You've been avoiding the regular trail. Expecting trouble?
I usually do, Wichita.
I've been watching you around horses, Slaughter. Been thinking you was in the cavalry.
Oh?
I heard about a man named Slaughter once. Commanded a regiment from Illinois in the war.
Yeah?
Raiders, they was. Used to raid across the line. This Slaughter I heard about, he always used to come back leading a string of Confederate horses with their saddles empty. I've been thinking you're the same Slaughter.
And I've been thinking you're a pretty nosy old man.
Yep, that's me.
Well, this is far enough. Rusty, we'll bed down here.
Right.
Wichita, that chuck wagon of ours. I just saw the tarp move. There's somebody inside.
Yeah, I saw it too.
All right, Carlotta.
Oh.
Get out of there.
Please, senor, I want to go to Tombstone.
You picked the wrong way.
But you don't send me back now. It's night. It's wild country. You wouldn't do that, would you?
You counted on that, didn't you? All right, you'll go with us.
Oh, gracias.
But you'll earn your way. You'll help the cook. You'll clean up after him. You'll wash the dishes.
Work me like a horse, huh? Or worse. Maybe you like the horses better.
There's one big difference. I invited the horses. After we bedded down the herd, the cook wrestled up some grub. Carlotta was plenty sullen, but she worked. Jimmy kept eyeing her, so I figured I'd better put him on night herd. I turned in around midnight. Everything was peaceful. But it didn't stay that way very long.
Slaughter, you hear that?
Yeah, where'd they come from?
Well, I don't know, but it's got the herd riled up. There they go. They're stampeding, Slaughter. They're stampeding.
In a moment, Luke Slaughter of Tombstone returns. Somebody ought to set Jack Benny straight about how to make a movie because he's at it again. When you join him later on today, CBS Radio's misguided matinee idol will attempt his own version of a famous movie. To make it even better, Hollywood producer Stanley Kramer, who made the movie, will be right there when he does. For a hilarious example of how not to make a motion picture, hear The Jack Benny Show later today on most of these same stations. Henry Morgan and Mitch Miller will be around following Jack Benny. Henry Morgan is host on the fast and funny guessing game, Says Who. His star-studded panel of experts spark one laugh after another as they try to identify memory-teasing mystery voices. And speaking of stars, you'll find an hour of fast and funny conversation with the biggest name stars of Hollywood and Broadway waiting for you on CBS Radio's Mitch Miller Show tonight. And now, Act Two of William N. Robeson's production of Luke Slaughter of Tombstone.
Wichita, turn him in! We gotta get him turned to melon! You're getting too close, Slaughter! Dewey, rest me over there! I can't turn the bunch in the lead! Slaughter! Watch out! They'll run you down! Yeah, get around! Just stay head off that lead steer! Right! I got him! You don't... Keep melon! That's it! Let's get him slow!
Whoa.
Whoa. Yeah.
That was close, Wichita.
Yeah. I thought I'd seen everything, Slaughter. But I guess I was wrong.
What do you mean?
Riding into that herd the way you did.
You know a better way to turn him?
You could have been run down, killed.
Maybe. Jimmy, come on over here.
Look, Slaughter, up on the ridge.
Small fire.
Could be Indians.
We'll go up and take a look in a minute.
What do you want, Slaughter?
Those two shots that started the stampede. Sounded like they came from over near where you were. You fire those shots, Jimmy? I said, did you fire those shots?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I thought I saw something moving in the dark near me. Figured it could be trouble.
So you just hauled up and blasted away, huh? Pretty spooky with that 6-gun of yours, aren't you?
I tell you, I thought someone was coming at me.
You almost cost us the whole herd. You want 2 of those guns, but 1's too much for you. I'm taking your 6-gun, Jimmy.
No, you ain't, Slaughter.
I'll leave you your rifle in case you run into trouble on the way to Tombstone. But I can't take any more chances on that itchy trigger finger of yours. Now hand it over.
Ain't nobody gonna take my gun away from me. I'll draw on you before I let you.
No, you won't.
Maybe you ain't heard about them 2 men I gunned, Slaughter.
Yeah, you was shooting off your mouth about it in the saloon, but I don't believe it, Jimmy. You never gunned a man. And you're not going to start now. Now hand it over. But first, let's have it. All right. Now get back to the herd.
Yeah, you've taken a lot away from that kid, Slaughter. First calling him Jimmy, and now taking his gun.
I had no choice.
Even so, you cut him up, and he won't forget it.
You trying to be my conscience or something, Wichita?
No, like you say, I'm just a nosy old man.
Then let's go nose around that fire up on the ridge. There's some dirt on that fire, Wichita. Get it out.
Right. Nobody around here. You know, this could be a signal fire. Think it was Indians that lit it?
I doubt it. I think it was intended as a signal for Jess Hancock, so we could locate the herd.
You suggesting somebody in our outfit set off the fire?
Could be.
But the stampede, we was all there.
The fire could have been lit just before the stampede.
You say somebody in the outfit, that'd include me?
Yeah. Right now, Wichita, there's only one person in the outfit I'm sure of.
Who's that?
Me.
I tell you, I didn't start the fire, Slaughter. I wouldn't help Hancock. I told you I want to get away from him.
I know that's what you told me, Carlotta.
But you don't believe me. You think I'm still Hancock's girl. Why don't you trust me? Why don't you be nice to me, huh? Maybe I could be your muchacha.
Sorry. Right now my job's riding herd on cattle, not women.
Oh, you make me sick. You don't care about nobody but yourself.
Is she right, Slaughter?
What? Oh, Wichita. I might have known you'd be listening.
Yep.
Well, Slaughter, the herd's quieted down. 2 Mexican boys are keeping an eye on it. Did Carlotta admit anything?
No.
I wouldn't trust her any.
I don't, Rusty.
You want us for anything more, or can we turn in?
In a minute. I want to lay out the plans for tomorrow. I think we're in for some trouble.
How so?
We've got 2 possible routes through the country ahead, Rusty. Through a narrow pass or along the river bottom. The question is, which way to take the herd?
You expecting to be dry gulched?
I wouldn't be surprised, Jimmy.
Yeah, that narrow pass would be the logical place for a bushwhacking. Why not take the herd through along the river bottom?
Well, there's one thing wrong with that, Rusty.
Hey, it could be just what Hancock wants you to do.
Right. He might be trying to outfigure me. There's a lot of willows and underbrush along that river bottom. He could be holed up there. That's why we're going to take the herd through the pass. We'll start right after sunup. I didn't know if my bluff would work or not. It was the only way I could find out who Hancock's spy was. I rode away from camp toward the herd. Whoever it was, I had to give him a chance to make a move. And it didn't take long. Pretty soon I heard muffled hoofs moving away. I rode back to camp and took a look. It was Rusty. He was gone.
Carlotta's gone too, Slaughter.
I guess she wasn't so anxious to get away from Hancock as she let on.
So Rusty's gone to tell him that we're bringing the herd through the pass.
It's just what I wanted him to do. Unless he knows this country a lot better than I do, he's going to lead me right to Hancock.
You're going after him?
Yeah. They should give me the slip. We're going to be in for some trouble.
What do you want us to do?
Split the outfit in 2, Wichita. Take half the herd through the pass, the other half through the river bottom. Be ready for trouble, especially in the pass.
Let me take the pass, Slaughter.
You sure you want to?
Yeah, real sure. And I think I can handle it.
I think you can, too. Oh, and, you might be needing that 6-gun of yours. Here it is, Jim.
Thanks. Luke?
Slaughter will do. Get moving at sunup. Join up on the other side and wait for me. I picked up Rusty's trail. He was headed for the ridge between the pass and the river bottom. It was getting light when I reached a shortcut where I could gain some ground on him. But I gained too much. Just as I got back to the trail again, a horse came pounding around the bend carrying Rusty and Carlotta. He pulled up when he spotted me and shoved Carlotta off.
Get off!
Then I saw he'd been holding a gun on her. His slug burned my shirt as I dove at him.
Slaughter, you...
You all right, Carlotta?
See, I think so. Rusty made me go with him. He was taking me back to Hancock. Slaughter.
It came from those rocks up above there. Take cover.
All right. Oh, I can't walk. My ankle is twisted.
All right. All right. I'll carry you. Get her on behind this rock. You'll be all right. There. Sit here. You'll be safe now.
I was wrong about you, Slaughter.
What do you mean?
You do care about somebody beside yourself. Gracias.
It's got to be Hancock up there in those rocks. Here, take my rifle and stay put. I'm going to try and circle around behind him. There was a big shoulder of rock above me and to my left. If I could get around that, I might be able to get behind Hancock if he didn't hear me coming. There he was, 20 yards away, his back to me. His gun in the holster so he could get a better handhold as he edged his way along the rocks. I holstered my own gun and stepped out into the clear. Hancock!
Slaughter.
Yeah. Here I am, Hancock. Now go ahead. Draw.
like it, Wichita. Slaughter should have been here by now.
He'll be along, Jim.
Well, maybe we ought to head up there and see if we can find him. He could be in trouble.
He said wait for him here.
Well, even so, maybe
Here
we...
he is, coming up the draw. Carlotta's with him. Ain't that Rusty's horse that she's riding?
Yeah. And Slaughter's leading another one.
Uh-huh. With an empty saddle.
Heard all right?
Yeah, all in one piece, no trouble. But looks like you had some.
A little.
That horse you're leading, is it Hancock's?
It was.
I knew you could outdraw him.
Matter of fact, the draw was about even.
But how come you...
Jim, you got a couple of things to learn. It isn't getting your gun out of your holster that's the most important thing. It's what you do with it once it's out.
Uh-huh. You figure Hancock was after the herd or after Carlotta?
I didn't take time to ask him, Wichita.
Luke Slaughter of Tombstone, starring Sam Buffington. Written by Robert Stanley with editorial supervision by Tom Hanley and directed by William N. Robeson. Supporting Mr. Buffington in the first of this new series were Lillian Baeff, Eddie Marr, Herb Vigran, Sam Edwards, Junius Matthews, and Vic Perrin. Next week at this time, we return with...
Slaughter's the name. Luke Slaughter. When we meet up again, you can call me that. Luke Slaughter.
That was Luke Slaughter of Tombstone with the episode titled Duel on the Trail, starring Sam Buffington as Luke Slaughter and Junius Matthews as Wichita, as originally heard February 23rd, 1958. And that wraps up hour number 1, but we still have one more hour left to go as Classic Radio Rewind returns with more from the golden age of radio right after this. Welcome back to hour number 2 of Classic Radio Rewind, and kicking off this hour is an episode from John Steele Adventurer. John Steele Adventurer is a classic series that aired on the Mutual Broadcasting System from April 26, 1949 to 1956. The show starred Don Douglas as John Steele, a roving adventurer who took on various jobs in exotic locations, often finding himself in thrilling and dangerous situations. The format of each episode was a standalone story, narrated by a friend of Steele's, with Steele making cameo appearances throughout. The series covered a wide range of genres, including romantic comedy, high-seas adventures, sports, and mysteries. The stories often focused more on the people Steele met and their adventures rather than Steele himself. This approach allowed for a diverse array of storytelling, from romantic escapades to intense mysteries. So, from August 25th, 1949, this is John Steele Adventurer with The Honorable Ones.
John Steele Adventurer.
Hello, friends. This is John Steele. Most of us at one time or another in our lives have had to face a hard decision. Our story this week concerns a man who faced a cruel choice: to break the only promise he'd ever sworn to keep, or to sacrifice the lives of those who depended on him. I call this yarn The Honorable Ones. They say the path of least resistance leads to destruction. Maybe that's part of the reason James Guilford tossed over what might have been a brilliant career as a brain surgeon and ended up in China with a reputation no one would want pinned on them. It began a short time after the Chinese Communist Army captured Hankow. Some Americans and Europeans had stayed on in the city for various reasons, mostly business. But Jim Guilford didn't have their connections and got pushed around. That, combined with what he saw going on and wasn't able to do anything about, made him hate the new People's Republic. So when he heard a rumor that an American was flying out to Japan, he pulled the few strings he had and got himself passage. Jim thought that maybe getting back to the States would help him pull himself together and enable him to make a fresh start. The plane took off just before dawn. To his surprise, several other people were huddled on the floor in the pitch-black cabin. Jim recognized their names as those of popular business people in the international sector.
Well, feel better now we're underway, right, Benny?
Yeah, Pete.
Lots of good contacts washed down the drain, though.
Like losing your lifeblood, huh?
Nah, salesmen are just like you reporters. We soon develop new ones wherever we go, right, Mr. Tillman?
Oh, that's always a talent I look for, Mr. Bigger.
But seldom find.
No, dear.
Well, it's true.
Certainly was a lucky break getting this plane out.
I wonder how it was managed.
Influence, I suppose.
Oh, I heard some of the big shots are bought off.
When you called me, Pete, and told me about it, I didn't think there was a chance.
Told you it was a sure thing, didn't I?
Yes, but when we had to give our names and occupations to the officials, I figured that was curtains for betting.
Why?
They don't like American reporters.
They don't like any of us, right, fella? Hey, mister.
Me?
Yeah.
What's that?
They don't like any of us, right?
Yeah.
What's your name?
You don't know me.
Oh, what is it?
James.
First or last?
Doesn't matter.
Don't know anyone named James in Hancock, except,
Pete thinks he should know everyone there.
Paid off, didn't it?
Yeah.
What's your line, Jim?
Nothing much, no. Retired? Yeah, in a way. You are very fortunate.
Oh,
What's the matter, dear?
this plane.
Oh, but darling.
Horrid.
Well.
I'm nearly freezing.
Yes, so am I. We should have brought some blankets.
You wouldn't think of that beforehand.
Well, there were so many of them.
Leave everything up to me.
Well, perhaps there's some in the plane.
It's too dark to see.
Here, take my coat, dear.
And have you catch pneumonia?
I have a blanket.
Lucky guy.
Yeah.
The women can share it.
Really?
Yes.
Thanks.
Here you are.
Oh, my foot.
Sorry, Mrs. Tillman. It's so
Everything
dark.
happens to me.
Oh, come on, Mrs. Tillman. We'll wrap it around our legs.
Arthur should have thought to bring one for me.
Oh, thank you, Mr. It's okay.
Well, we're still luckier than the rest.
You said
Getting
it.
out of China now.
And this disgusting slaughter.
Chinese have a right to decide who they want to govern them. my
You
dear.
know very well that peaceful means, Arthur.
Everyone is not an idealist like you, Maud.
No.
Well, what do we care anyway, as long as it doesn't affect us?
It will.
Not me.
No.
My business is better than ever.
You'd sell to either side. Doesn't make any difference to you.
Well, that's playing it smart, right, Jim?
You like the Reds?
Well, never gave it much thought.
I hate them.
Oh, what was that?
Hit an air
It's
pocket.
rough weather.
This is the most terrible plane I've ever been in,
Well, we
Arthur.
couldn't be choosing.
You could have seen to it
It'll
that...
be better now that daylight is
Oh,
coming.
yes, it is getting light.
Yeah. Now we can see who we're tripping over, right, Jim? Wow.
Dr. James Guilford.
I knew his voice was familiar.
You should have told us.
Well, Doctor.
I say, Pete, are you returning to the States?
Well, don't think so.
You'll have a great deal to write about, Betty, when we get to Japan.
Yeah.
It'll be fascinating business, being a newspaper woman, I mean.
Sometimes.
What are you going to do, Arthur?
Well, I haven't completely made up my mind yet.
Well, I got a spot I've been thinking about.
Oh, yeah?
Should be a great place for my business.
Well, where's that?
Pete?
Yeah?
There's another plane over there.
Uh-huh.
Coming toward us, I'm sure.
Probably a nationalist. Let's go.
No, I can see the markings.
Well, we're still over the mainland.
He's signaling.
Is that what he's doing?
Yeah.
Oh, dear, he's going to run into us. Look out! Oh!
It's all right.
Well,
dear.
how do you know?
He's coming back.
Yeah.
Ow!
He hit.
I don't know. Here, help me.
Dr. Guilford.
Take a look, Doc.
All right. Is she has fainted?
Not hit, huh?
No. Oh, Maud. My dear. Maud.
We're going down.
Yeah, we got her.
But they gave us clearance.
I'll see if there's any water for her, Mr. Tillman.
But the situation was suddenly very clear to Jim. As soon as the others thought they needed him, it was a different story. Forgot how they'd acted when they first recognized him. Like he was going to rub off on them. But Jim couldn't blame them entirely. He felt it wasn't enough to just admit to himself he'd made a mistake in throwing his life away. He had to convince the others somehow. And Jim knew it was going to be a tough job. After they landed on an airstrip, they were crowded into a small shed while Pete Vicker went off somewhere to find out what was wrong. Jim was over in the corner by himself when Pete came back, and the rest mobbed him.
Well, what's up?
Who'd you see, Pete?
Are we going on now?
Take it easy. Take it easy. I couldn't find out anything.
What?
Just checked our papers.
Who did?
Some general.
Well, there's nothing wrong with our papers.
Well, it didn't seem
Well,
to be.
can we go on now?
No. Not yet, anyway.
I trust you told him he had no right to detain us.
No, I didn't.
Wouldn't do any good, Maud.
But we were promised safe passage, right?
And we're safe so far.
Arthur?
Yes, sir.
You go see this general.
Oh, but dear.
Tell him you shall protest to the American embassy.
I'll be
You
sensible.
heard me.
There aren't any embassies here, Mrs.
I
Tillman.
don't care.
Well, there's nothing we
if
could-
you don't, I shall.
You'll stay right here.
I'll do nothing of
You
the
heard
kind.
me.
Well, of all the
I
nerve.
just don't understand.
Cigarette, Doc?
Thanks.
Might as well relax.
What's up?
Who knows?
They'll hold
Yeah.
us ransom.
Yeah, more like hostages.
Did Pete ask him if we could go on?
Yeah, no go.
Oh,
Wouldn't give a reason.
typical.
Yeah,
No rush.
none.
You ever know an Oriental that didn't take his time?
Nope.
Something we can learn from.
What?
Patience.
Oh, that's true.
There's always plenty of time for everything.
You think so, Doctor?
Yes.
Well, maybe that explains some things.
What?
Oh, nothing, Jim.
It's a hard lesson for Americans to learn.
You have?
I hope to.
Know something, Doc?
Well,
You and I ought to have a long talk sometime.
oh, I've had too much publicity already.
Mm-mm. This would be strictly off the record.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't think you'd see it.
Oh, Mr. Dr. James Guilford.
Guilford?
You understand him, follow?
No. I'm James Guilford.
You go along, come with Ho Sang.
Where?
General Fu Wong, he wants you, he make talk.
Why?
He say bring you.
Tell him I don't want to see him.
What do?
That's what you think.
Jim.
You refuse? Yeah?
You'd better go, Jim.
Why?
You know why.
You're crazy. You gotta go.
You go. Let me go.
You'll get us all in touch, Doc.
I don't want anything to do with these guys.
It's probably just something he wants to check on.
You can't accomplish anything by resisting them.
No. Go on, Doctor.
Maybe we can get away from here then.
You come now. Okay. I still don't like it.
Stop. I bring Doctor, General.
Won't you be seated, Doctor? I'll stand.
As you wish.
What do you want?
You Americans,
Well,
always in a rush to get to the point.
anything wrong with that?
Well, that depends on the point of view.
There's no sense wasting time.
No. You're a doctor.
Were is better.
You studied medicine.
Yeah,
The knowledge remains.
sometimes.
You're a brain specialist, to be exact.
How'd you know?
Your reputation is well known to me.
Yeah, to everyone.
True.
How'd you know I was on the plane?
We had word to permit your plane free flight.
Which you haven't done.
Also true.
And when your superiors find out...
They shall
that'll
do
be-
nothing. Your attitude is not understandable, Dr. Guilford.
What do you mean?
You have lived several years in my land of your own choice.
So?
Yet you seem not to like us.
Just those you represent.
Oh. Well, that makes no difference.
What do you want?
An operation performed.
And you don't want me.
I do.
I haven't practiced in years.
Yes, I know.
You know a lot.
Thank you.
And you know the life I've led doesn't help you to be a skilled surgeon.
Perhaps. Sometimes thoughts of what may happen otherwise can cause one to be successful.
What do you mean?
To fail would prove disastrous.
What kind of operation?
An extremely delicate one. To relieve a pressure upon the brain.
Who's the patient?
Myself.
No.
You refuse?
Yeah.
Sang.
Let go.
Stop.
I won't stop.
You will reconsider?
No.
You're being very foolish.
Maybe.
None of your fellow passengers shall continue their journey until the operation is done.
Doesn't worry me.
It might not be safe for their persons to remain with my troops for a long period. They do not care for Americans.
You got my answer.
You have no feelings toward them?
Let's say I feel stronger about something else.
I understand.
Good.
You are stupid, Doctor.
Maybe. But I'll win in the long run.
Really?
Yeah. I've been sizing things up while I stood here.
So?
I can see what condition you're in. One arm paralyzed. Slowly advancing.
You are smarter than I suspected.
You'll be dead in a week. Then we'll go.
Insolence!
Get yourself another doctor, one of your own.
If there were one, do you think I would have bothered with you?
No.
You have a special skill.
So I hold all the strings.
Not all, Dr. Guilford. You can be persuaded.
Yeah?
Sank. We have our methods, Doctor.
No good.
Sang. Pick him up, Sang.
No.
This is not one of our more subtle methods, Doctor, as you no doubt know.
No good.
I have little time, Doctor.
I have plenty.
You will operate.
I wouldn't help if you were the last.
You will not speak so to me.
I kill you with my own hands first.
I'll remember that, Doctor, when you perform the operation.
Don't hold your breath.
My men shall be properly informed in case anything should happen to me.
You might as well get it over with now while you can enjoy it.
Take him out of here, Sang.
Yeah.
Do, don't you? No, Sang. Take him back to his friends.
Huh?
Make sure they know why they are being held, Sang.
Oh.
I'm sure he will find their company most comforting.
Got it all figured. Haven't you?
General Wong knew the others better than Jim did. At first, they were embarrassed because he held their lives in his hand and they tried to cover it up with unsubtle cracks about Jim doing an operation. But as the hours wore on, they started getting restless, cooped up in one small shed. They gathered in a tight little group and whispered, looking at Jim Guilford. Finally, Maud Pullman couldn't restrain herself any longer.
Can't stay here forever just because he won't do it. Dr. Guilford.
My answer is no.
But what right have you got to refuse?
My own.
Well, you've undoubtedly had much worse patients.
So what?
I don't see why you should be so particular at our expense.
I don't care what you think.
They'll kill us.
He's bluffing.
He threatened that?
Yes.
Oh.
He wouldn't dare violate the orders of his commanding officer. Well, it's a simple and logical request he's made of you, Doctor. No. I thought that a doctor pledged himself to save lives, a sacred obligation. I'm not a doctor anymore.
You can do it?
No.
Why?
None of your business.
Well, if they're going to bump me off, it's my...
You'll die before then.
Is that serious?
Yes.
We got a right to know why. You won't?
Yes, we... I will do it, that's all.
Why?
You must know I made myself a promise.
And we get knocked off because you made yourself a promise.
You wouldn't understand.
You're going to do it if I have to take you.
Let go of me.
Who do you think you are?
Let me go.
You crazy...
Right, you won't get anywhere this way, Pete.
Yeah.
You're not going to get anywhere anyway.
Why, you...
Shut up!
General Wong wants you answer, Mr. Doctor.
It's no.
He said take women in half hour. You'll not do it.
No!
He can't bluff me.
You say no
Yeah.
in half hour.
Dr. Guilford, certainly you're not... Let me alone. I'm not thinking of myself. But the women, you can't let them... I can't help that. No? No. Besides, I don't think it'll come to that. Well, we can't take that chance. Listen... Were you ever married, Doctor? What's that got to do with it? Were you? No. Then you wouldn't understand, but... Leave me alone. I don't want to hear any more about it. Leave me alone, do you hear? Leave me alone.
I'm sorry, Jim.
Hmm?
I said I'm sorry.
You're going to try and change my mind, too?
Nope. Just thought you might want someone to talk to. Cigarette?
Thanks.
Haven't got a match.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You think I owe them anything after
Don't talk about it.
No, I want to talk to you.
Okay.
Do I owe them anything?
I don't think that's the point.
What is?
They're frightened now. Nobody looks good when they're frightened.
No.
But it's more than that.
What?
Do you owe it to yourself?
What do you mean?
Look, I've heard a lot about you, Jim. Most of it was bad, but some of it was good. Let's say you don't do the operation, and somehow or other we get out of this. What's that going to do to you as a doctor?
Oh, it isn't that simple.
Well, now it's my turn. What do you mean?
We may all die anyway.
Why?
You don't know what the operation's like.
No.
It's serious, difficult.
Well, of course.
You could die on the table through no fault of mine.
All he's asked is that you try.
No.
More?
Yeah, he's fixed it so that if he dies, we get killed anyway.
But he can't expect
So
you.
I won't deliberately get rid of him.
Oh. Whatever you decide, Jim, I'm not afraid.
Half hour is up, Mr. Doctor.
What do you mean? It hasn't been a half hour?
He says half hour. Take women.
Oh,
No, wait.
You do operation, Mr. Doctor?
I'll try.
Thank you, thank you.
We'll never forget this,
Gee,
Doctor.
thanks, Guilford.
Yeah, yeah. You shouldn't have come, Betty.
You couldn't do it by yourself.
No.
Got everything you need?
Yeah. Will you be able to take it?
I think so.
I knew you would see it my way, Dr. Guilford.
Yeah. You ready?
Of course.
Okay. Help him on the table, Hosang. Okay, now get out.
Sang stays.
He'll disturb the doctor.
He is my insurance, miss.
Yeah.
Hosang has been fully instructed what to do if there should be an accident.
Sang do, General.
There's always a chance that this thing mightn't
You will
go.
see that there is not, Doctor.
But he can't.
Hosang,
Yes, General.
my own gun shall dispense the justice. You may start.
Hold this mask, Betty.
Okay.
Pour some ether in. There. Now take deep breaths, Swan.
Yes.
He's under, Jim.
I'll check him. Yeah.
Stand back, Sang.
Sung, watch.
What's first, Jim?
This scalpel.
This one?
Yeah. Preliminary incision.
Easy, Jim.
Hmm?
Your hand's shaking.
I don't know, Betty.
What?
I'm not sure.
You'll do all right.
Shaking too much.
Why, you stop.
How do you expect me to do anything with you poking that gun in my ribs?
What do you look at you?
Betty. Betty.
Steady, Jim.
I can't do it.
Yes, you can.
I don't remember. I'm not sure.
Take it easy.
It's been so long.
Think.
It's no use.
What's first?
Betty, I can't.
You have to.
My hand.
You go on.
Oh, stop hanging over the doctor's shoulder.
Song say you
oh,
go
shut
on.
up. Come on, Jim.
No.
What's first?
I can't.
Jim!
Okay.
Better. Now let's go on.
Yeah, all right, Betty. Preliminary incision. There. Sponge.
Right.
That's good. Clamp. No, here, I'll do it. Sponge.
Mm-hmm.
Clamp.
Yeah.
Sponge. Clamp.
Okay.
Sponge. Clamp.
Mm-hmm.
Sponge.
All right.
Clamp. Sponge. Clamp. Wipe my forehead, Betty.
Okay.
Good.
Pulse is dropping.
What's it down to?
62.
Be through with the suture in a minute. Scissors.
Right.
There. Pulse.
60.
Take off the mask.
Right.
Mechanic's waist.
Right.
There. Bandage. No, that's it. Can you get your hand under his neck?
I think so,
All
sure.
right. That's good. Elastic bandage.
Right. Will I hold up his head?
Yeah. There. That's it.
I told you could do it.
Yeah.
Haven't lost your touch.
I gotta sit down.
General.
He can't talk to you, Sang.
General.
Leave him alone.
It was successful, wasn't it?
I can't tell you.
How soon?
When he comes to, if he does.
General, eyes not open.
He hasn't come out of the ether.
General, you know, breathe.
Let me see.
What's wrong, Jim?
Nothing. He's just breathing easier.
General, die.
No.
General, die.
No, Sang. He's just breathing.
No trick or sound.
You're nuts.
You kill him.
Put that gun away.
We kill you. Come.
You can't leave the general now, Sang.
He dead.
No.
Go.
Better do what he says.
No, but he...
Maybe we can stall for time outside.
Move.
What was that?
The general. You hear him saying? He's alive.
General.
He's going to be okay.
Oh, not dead.
We're all set to go, Jim.
Where are the others?
What'd you expect? They're all in the plane.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
That's okay.
I had to leave instructions for the general's care.
I told them that. Hop in.
And Betty, thanks a lot.
Don't thank me, Jim.
Well, pretty glad that we got...
Hello, everyone.
Well, I do hope so.
Going at last, huh, Pete?
I understand, Betty, you're planning on going to South Korea from here.
Jim,
That's where I'm heading.
Really? Well, we're going there, too.
Oh, that a fact?
So that's how it is.
Please, Jim, listen.
I should have known. They're just trying
Come
to...
on up forward.
Huh?
Come on.
They was just trying to...
I know.
Wasn't worth
Yes,
it.
it was.
All they were thinking about
Think
was...
of what it did for you. Where are you going, Jim?
I don't know.
Well, when you get there, will you let me know?
What? Yeah. Yeah.
And starred as John Steele on this transcribed adventure was Don Douglas, with Ross Martin, Adele Saul, Joe Helgeson, Connie Lemke, and Earl George. And, of course, all names and characters heard are fictitious, and any similarity to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. But here again is John Steele.
Well, friends, that's it. The honorable ones. The story of a man who learned that friendship is sometimes the masquerade of selfishness. A few months after Jim had returned to the States, he hung out his shingle again. And Betty Lavin wrote one of her best feature articles, the story of Dr. James Guilford. Well, this is John Steele. Be around next week, huh?
This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
That was John Steele Adventurer with The Honorable Ones, as originally heard August 25th, 1949. And lastly, we have the Man of Steel himself, Superman. In this episode at the Fairmount family estate, a burglar attempts to steal a diamond pendant meant for Alice Fairmount's 21st birthday. So from December 17th, 1949, this is Clayton Bud Collier in the dual role of Superman Clark Kent. This is Superman in the Diamond of Death.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
The Adventures of Superman. When the planet Krypton, home of a race of supermen, exploded into dust, the sole survivor was an infant boy who had been shot to earth in a sealed rocket. Today, that boy, grown to manhood, is known as Superman, sworn enemy of the forces of evil. To aid him in his never-ending fight for truth and justice, he masquerades as Clark Kent, crime reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper. His secret is carefully guarded. No one is aware that Kent is Superman. No one but you. Join with us now as we embark on another of Superman's exciting transcribed adventures
as the Man of Steel solves a murder and a mystery in The Diamond of Death. The Fairmount Estate, Great Oaks, is situated on a hilltop in the exclusive Wellington section of Metropolis. From the scrolled iron gate that once ensured the privacy of an Italian prince, the broad green acres rise to the huge gabled house in terraced formality. Time has taken its toll of the Fairmounts, and there are only 3 who occupy the 27-room mansion. Aunt Margaret, her son John, and her niece Alice, whose father founded the now dwindling Fairmount fortune. As our story opens, Alice is alone in the drawing room, playing the piano.
Is that the only piece you know?
How many times have I told you not to sneak up behind me?
That's good practice. You didn't hear me come in, did you?
No, I didn't. And I don't like being spied on. Ever since you got that correspondence school detective course, you've been unbearable. Gumshoeing around the house, frightening your mother half to death, picking at locks. It seems to me, John, it's about time you grew up.
When I want your advice, I'll ask for it. You think you're pretty high and mighty because you're going to be 21 tomorrow. I believe you me, when I'm 21, I won't be hanging around this barn of a house.
Oh, what's the use? I'm going to my room. What was that?
It's Mama. Hey, Mama! Mama, what happened? Mama, what happened? What happened?
Oh, my nerve pills. Oh, John, get them, please.
Huh.
They're on the dresser, John. Get a glass of water, too. Something frighten you, Aunt Margaret?
Oh, Alice. Alice, darling.
Are these the pills?
Yes. Where's the water?
Oh, shucks, I forgot.
Aunt Margaret, tell me what happened.
Oh, it was horrible. I opened the door, and a great
Here's the water. What made her scream?
I don't know yet. Here you are, Aunt Margaret.
Thank you, dear.
Well, something must have happened.
Did you arrive at that conclusion all by yourself?
You don't have to get smart, Alecky.
Oh, please, please, children.
I'm sorry.
What happened, Mama?
Give me a chance to catch my breath, John.
Well, you want me to call the doctor?
No. No, I'll be all right. It was just a terrible scare.
What scared you?
I went across the hall to the library to get a book.
Yeah?
When I opened the library door, I saw a man climbing out the window.
Holy cats.
He turned to look at me, and his face was covered with a black handkerchief.
A burglar.
I tried to call out to him to stop, but all I could do was scream.
You better look around outside.
No, John. Help me up, Alice, dear.
Yeah, but, Mama, what if he's lurking around outside waiting for another chance to bust in?
Oh, thank you, dear. I'm sure I frightened him off, John. At any rate, there's something far more important. Alice's diamond pendant is in the safe in the library.
Aunt Margaret, you don't think he...
Oh, I hope not, dear. But come, we'll see. $14 right. 7 left. There.
Aunt Margaret, if anything happened to Daddy's diamond...
We'll know in a moment. It was in this metal box. It's here.
Oh, thank heaven.
You sure make a lot of fuss about a hunk of jewelry. So what if he did take it? It's insured.
You wouldn't understand.
Alice's father brought the diamond back from Africa, John. It's the only one of its kind, and it's worth a fortune.
Hadn't we better call the police, Aunt Margaret?
I don't think it's necessary, dear. Obviously, he tried to get into the safe and couldn't. All it would mean would be a lot of questions and nothing accomplished.
Someone's at the front door.
Wait a minute. Don't anyone move. I'll look out the window and see who it is.
John, be careful.
Don't worry. It's a man and a woman.
Oh, yes, I forgot. They're probably from the Daily Planet. A Miss Lane called this afternoon about an interview with you, Alice.
With me?
Yes, about your birthday party tomorrow and the diamond. Close the window, John, and go down and let them in.
But Why would anyone want to interview me, Aunt Margaret?
Why, you're a Fairmount, dear. And that makes you important. Come, I'll go down with you.
I'm sorry I was late, Mrs. Richards, but Mr. Kent drove me up and somehow we got lost.
Oh, sure. Always blame it on the driver.
Oh, it's perfectly all right. And if we seem a little disorganized, it's because we've had some excitement.
Yeah, a burglar broke in and tried to steal my cousin Alice's diamond.
What? John, don't exaggerate.
Well, he did, didn't he?
When did this happen?
Just before you and Miss Lane arrived.
Oh?
I surprised a marauder in the upstairs library. Whether he was after the Fairmount diamond or not is a question.
Did you notify the police?
Well, frankly, no. I believed I frightened him off.
I noticed a man out front when we drove up.
You did?
Yes. He was short and dark with one of those little hairline mustaches.
Well, that's Mario.
The chauffeur.
It seems to me the police should be notified. Don't you think so, Cor?
Wouldn't hurt. What's your chauffeur's last name, Mrs. Richards?
Corelli.
Yeah, Mario Philip Corelli.
Oh.
He was born in Sicily, and he's got a scar on his face where a black hand guy cut him with a knife.
John, I'm sure Mr. Kent isn't interested in Mario's personal history.
Oh, on the contrary, Mrs. Richards, I might very well be. I have a vague feeling I've seen him somewhere before. How long has he been with you?
3 months.
I wish, John, you'd learn not to answer questions for others. I'm perfectly capable of replying.
Okay.
Mario wasn't the man I saw in the library, Mr. Kent, if that's what you're thinking. This man was tall and blond.
I see.
Well, this is all very interesting, but actually we came here to get a story on Miss Fairmount's birthday, and nobody has paid any attention to her.
That's quite all right.
Oh, forgive me, Alice, dear.
Of course, Aunt Margaret.
You'll be 21 tomorrow, isn't that right?
All of 21.
And you're going to celebrate the occasion with a party.
Aunt Margaret's giving me a party, yes.
It'll be a masquerade with 200 invited guests.
I see. Here at Great Oaks, I presume.
Oh, most certainly.
Well, that's fine. Now, about the Fairmount diamond.
Well, in accordance with the last wishes of my dear brother, Alice's father, I'll present the Fairmount diamond to Alice at the party.
That's if that burglar doesn't come back and steal it.
John, that's not amusing.
I think it's disgusting.
You would.
That will be enough, John.
Just one more thing, Mrs. Richards, and we'll go. May we have a photographer at the party? We'd like a shot of the presentation of the diamond.
Well, by all means, and unless Alice has any objections.
No.
Good. Thank you so much for seeing us, and best wishes to you, Miss Fairmount.
Yes, many happy returns of tomorrow.
Thank you. And if I were you, Mrs. Richards, I'd certainly notify the police about that marauder.
Yes. Yes, I think I shall.
Clark, do you mean to say that you've dragged me down here to police headquarters because you vaguely remember having seen that chauffeur's face before?
In essence.
What do you mean, in essence? You could have seen his face in a barber shop or a subway or any one of a million places. What makes you think he's a criminal?
I've got a picture in my mind.
What mind?
And it's a rogues gallery picture with a number.
You know what you sound like?
What?
Fortune teller in a two-bit carnival. I see a picture. The picture has a number. A short, dark man with a scar.
All right, Lois.
Okay, Swami. You hang around here all night while they dig up pictures for you.
Where you
I'm
going?
going back to the office. I'm going to knock out the Fairmount squib and home to bed.
Okay.
So long, Mystic.
This the guy you're looking for, Kent?
Lois, here he is.
I don't believe it.
Come here, look.
Well, it won't do me any good to look. I've never seen him.
All right, then listen. Martin Corday, alias Matt Corray, alias Mitchell Corray, alias Mario Corday.
They said his name was Corelli.
That's the name he's using now, Mario Corelli. Listen. Arrested June 14th, 1938 on suspicion smuggling gems in the port of New York.
Smuggling gems?
Discharged, insufficient evidence. Arrested March 12th, 1941, possession of stolen gems. Convicted 2 years state prison. Arrested Paris, France, 1945, attempted smuggling of stolen jewels.
Why, Clark.
No disposition. 3 arrests and 1 conviction, all on gem charges.
Well, my humble apologies.
Oh, forget that. Here's our chance to get a real story on the Fairmount diamond, not just a society-paid squib. Slip this into the ready file, Moran, will you? We may be needing it.
Okay.
You mind if I use the phone?
No, go ahead.
You got her number, Lois?
Huh? Whose?
That woman at Great Oaks, the aunt.
Mrs. Richards?
Yes.
Well, just ask for the Great Oaks estate in Wellington. What are you calling for?
Warn her to be careful until we get there.
Oh, I see.
Number, please.
I'd like the Great Oaks Estate in Wellington. I don't know the number, operator.
1 moment, please.
Thank you. Golly, imagine the patience of the guy, Lois. Here he's been hanging around for 3 months, waiting to get his hands on that diamond, working as a chauffeur.
But, Clark, Mrs. Richards said the man she found in the room was tall and blond.
Oh, he was probably a Confederate.
Here's your party.
Oh, hello?
Hello?
Miss Richards?
Yes?
This is Clark Kent, Mrs. Richards. Clark Kent. Miss Lane and I were at your place about an hour ago from the Daily Planet.
Yes, of course. I'm sorry, Mr. Kent.
That's quite all right. My reason for calling, Mrs. Richards, is to tell you that we did a little checking on your chauffeur.
A little what?
We checked your chauffeur at police headquarters, and we find he has a record as a jewel thief. Now, don't get frightened or upset, Mrs. Richards.
Oh, this is terrible.
Miss Lane and I are coming back to your place. We should be there in 20 minutes. Just keep calm. And, Mrs. Richards.
Yes?
Where is the Fairmount diamond?
It's in a safe in the upstairs library.
Well, stay in the library until we get there. And keep your son with you.
Yes, I will. I certainly will.
Okay, see you in about 20 minutes.
Hurry, Mr. Kent, please.
We will. Okay, Lois, let's go.
I don't know how to thank you, Mr. Kent, for having uncovered this horrible situation.
Glad we were able to track him down.
To think that we've been harboring a thief in our midst for almost 3 months. Why, it makes me shudder.
I knew there was something fishy about him right from the beginning. I didn't like his looks.
John, don't be childish.
Well, I didn't.
Excuse me, but, Clark, how are we going to handle this? It's getting late.
Well, we can't prefer charges against him because, so far as we know, he hasn't yet committed a crime. I assume, however, that Mrs. Richards intends firing him.
Oh, immediately, Mr. Kent.
Well, I'd like to question him first.
Oh, give him the 3rd degree, huh?
No, just question him.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the sooner he leaves the property, the better I'll like it.
Well, he'll leave tonight, but before he does, we might be able to trap him into admitting that he was after the diamond. John, would you like to lure him into the trap?
Oh, sure.
All right, where's his room?
Well, it's over the garage.
Is he there now?
Well, he should be. You want me to find out?
No, wait. Here's what you do.
Huh?
Go to his room and tell him your mother would like to see him to, discuss some errands that must be done early in the morning. Things that have to be picked up for the birthday party.
Yeah, okay.
Then walk back here with him and bring him up here to the library.
All right.
Oh, Mr. Kent, do you think it's safe to send John over there alone?
Oh, Mama.
Perfectly safe, Mrs. Richards. You haven't given him any cause for suspicion, and I'm sure John can handle himself if he has to.
You see?
Don't worry, Mrs. Richards.
Well, very well.
I'll be right back with him.
You know, Clark, he's liable to get ugly when you tell him we know about his criminal record.
You don't have any more confidence in me than Mrs. Richards has in John, is that it?
He might be armed. Did that ever occur to you?
Yes, but I doubt it. Incidentally, where's your niece, Mrs. Richards?
That's right. We haven't seen her.
Well, Alice was in her room when you called. I saw no point in telling her about Mario. I was afraid it might disturb her too
That
much.
was wise. She's probably overexcited about her birthday party as it is.
Well, it wasn't so much that. I don't want you to misunderstand, but Alice had developed a sort of schoolgirlish infatuation for Mario.
Oh?
Oh, nothing serious, of course.
Clark, what was that?
It's John!
Stay here. I'll go down.
Mr. Kent!
What's the matter, John? What is it?
Mario. He's dead. Someone shot him. Right between the eyes.
We'll be back in a moment for part 2 of The Diamond of Death. But first, here is your ABC announcement.
Sunday is a very special day on ABC to millions of listeners. Favored people like Walter Winchell, Drew Pearson, Luella Parsons, and Jimmy Fiddler are included in the Sunday lineup. Now, the afternoon brings film actor Edward Arnold portraying Mr. President, the lovely voice of young singing star Betty Clark, and the greatest story ever told offers a moving half hour of drama from the Bible. Other highlights for Sunday on many ABC stations include Stop the Music, The Amazing Mr. Malone, Chance of a Lifetime, and Music with the Girls, which stars the all-girl orchestra and chorus with the top songs and music of the current Broadway and motion picture successes. Many of these favorites can be heard by you over this ABC station. So listen tomorrow, and remember, ABC is dressed in your Sunday best. Yes, be sure to hear Walter Winchell, Stop the Music, Luella Parsons, Drew Pearson, and many other great Sunday highlights over ABC, the American Broadcasting Company, tomorrow.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman and the Diamond of Death. With the startling discovery that Mario Corelli, an international jewel thief posing as a chauffeur, was murdered in his room, the mystery surrounding an attempt to steal the fabulous Fairmount diamond on the eve of Alice Fairmount's 21st birthday deepens. It is now past midnight. The police have completed their investigation at Great Oaks, the Fairmount estate, and have gone, leaving one uniformed man in the upstairs library where the diamond is locked in a safe. Mrs. Richards, Alice Fairmount's aunt, has retired. John Richards, Alice's cousin, is talking with the policeman in the library. Clark Kent, Lois Lane, and young Alice Fairmount are in the drawing room.
There's only one possible explanation, Clark. The tall, blonde fellow Mrs. Richards frightened out of the library was Corelli's sidekick. And when he failed to get the diamond, they had an argument, and Blondie let him have it.
Two things wrong.
What?
Nobody heard the shot, and according to the medical examiner, Corelli hadn't been dead 30 minutes when John found the body.
Well, the shot could have been muffled, and what's the time got to do with it?
What's the time got to do with it?
Oh.
Corelli was alive when we left here the first time. I saw him. That was about 9.
Yes?
I called Mrs. Richards from police headquarters at 9:30. We got back here at 5 minutes to 10, and the body was found at 10. That means he was murdered between 9:30 and 10. Miss Fairmount.
Yes?
How soon after Miss Lane and I left did you go to your room?
I don't quite remember the time.
Well, now, Miss Lane and I left at 9. Would you say 10 minutes? 20 minutes?
Well, you see, I went for a little walk first.
Oh. In the direction of the garage?
Why, yes.
Did you see Corelli?
Yes. Please, I don't want you to think
I'm not thinking anything, Miss Fairmount. You talked with Corelli?
Just for a moment. He said he hoped my party was successful. That was all.
Then you went to your room?
Yes.
You rather liked Corelli, didn't you?
Liked him?
Well, is like too mild?
No, of course not. I found him interesting.
Your aunt said he fascinated you.
That's not true. He spoke French and Italian fluently, and I enjoyed talking to him. But as for anything else...
Yes?
There was nothing else.
All Mr. Kent is trying to do, Miss Fairmount...
I know exactly what Mr. Kent is trying to do, and I resent it. Mario may have been a jewel thief, but I found him far more interesting company than my cousin John or my Aunt Margaret.
I can understand that.
This was my father's house. Tomorrow it'll be mine. If my Aunt Margaret objects to my likes and dislikes, well, it's just too bad.
No, I'm afraid you misunderstand. No one's criticizing you. Certainly neither Miss Lane nor myself. But Corelli was murdered, and we're looking for a solution.
Sorry, but I can't help you.
I think you can.
How?
Would you invite us to your masquerade party tomorrow?
Why, yes, if you'd like to come.
We would, very much.
Then of course you're invited. Will you be in costume?
Well, I don't know about Miss Lane, but I'll be in costume. A very interesting costume. You look lovely as a gypsy girl, Miss Lane.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kent. I wish I could say the same about your Superman costume.
Oh. Don't you like it?
Oh, the costume is beautiful.
But?
Skip it.
I know. You don't think I'd fill it out.
Well, after all, Clark, there's only one Superman.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
Oh, don't feel so bad about it.
Oh, I don't at all. In fact, I'm glad there's only one Superman. You have no idea how glad. What's the matter?
How long do we have to stay at this big but, dull party?
Until Mrs. Richards presents Alice with the diamond. Oh, hey, I didn't tell you, but the house is surrounded by police.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm. I arranged it with Inspector Henderson.
Good, that was smart.
When Mrs. Richards arrives with the diamond, all the doors to this ballroom will be locked and guarded.
Do you expect trouble?
No, but if it comes, we'll be ready.
Certainly done a job decorating this room, haven't they?
They have.
That fountain in the center is fabulous.
Yeah. Oh, here comes Mrs. Richards.
Oh, with son John tagging along?
No, he's probably outside with the cops telling them how to guard the house.
She's got the jewel case, Clark. This is it.
I guess so.
As most of you know, it was my brother's wish that Alice be presented with the Fairmount diamond on her 21st birthday. I shall hold it up for all of you to see. And then it will be my happy privilege to place the pendant around Alice's neck.
Clark, the lights went out.
Don't move, Lois. Stay where you are.
Oh, Clark, it's 10 minutes after 3. The police gave up an hour ago, and you're still tramping around this empty ballroom.
Yeah, I know.
Will you take that silly Superman costume off and let's go? The diamond is gone. Just make up your mind to it.
Well, I can't. The doors were locked and guarded. I got to Mrs. Richards a few seconds after the lights went out and she screamed. Where could it have gone?
I don't know.
When the lights went on again, she was holding the plush box in her left hand and the gold pendant chain in her right.
And the diamond was gone, and if I've heard that once, I've heard it a dozen times.
Sorry, I'm only trying to...
Clark, the police have searched the room, and everybody in it.
I know, Lois. She was standing near the fountain.
They searched the fountain. They drained the fountain, remember?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I was just thinking, the gold pendant chain and the box were cold, and the plush inside the box seemed to be damp.
Come again?
Golly, that's a fantastic idea, but if that's how it was done, it explains a lot of things.
What's a fantastic idea? Clark.
What?
I'm asking you what.
I think I know how the diamond disappeared so fast.
You do?
Easy. Someone's coming down the stairs. Oh, it's Alice.
Good heavens, are you people still here?
From the looks of it, we'll be here all night. Now, Mr. Kent thinks he knows how the diamond disappeared.
Mr. Kent, not really.
Yeah, I'll have to call the police to get them to do a little fast checking.
Well, there's a phone in the powder room, that door over there.
Oh, good. I'll be right back.
Do you really think Mr. Kent knows, Miss Lane?
It's hard to tell what Mr. Kent knows or doesn't know, but there's one easy way to find out. Come on.
What are you going to do?
Listen to what he tells the police.
This is Clark Kent. Let me have Captain Reed, please.
Captain Reed, he was here tonight, wasn't he?
Yes, he spoke to me.
Hello, Ed. This is Kent. No, I'm still up here. Yeah. Well, I think I've got the makings of a lead. No, not entirely, but I think the diamond was stolen last night, not tonight.
He's crazy.
That's right. No, I can't prove it yet, but if my hunch is correct, I will. I think the girl's aunt, Mrs. Richards, is behind it.
Oh, no.
Shh. Can you get a search warrant to go through the entire house, Ed? Good. Yes, as soon as you can, if you will. Okay, I'll call back if I dig up anything else. Right.
Let's go back where we were. I don't want him to know we were listening.
He can't be serious about Aunt Margaret.
Now, don't say a word.
Well, that's step number one. I'm going to take a look at Corelli's room above the garage. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Mr. Kent.
Let him go.
But I'd like him to explain what he meant about Aunt Margaret.
He won't anyway. I don't know what he's got up his sleeve, but whatever it is, I'm going to beat him to the punch. Take me to your aunt's room.
What for?
Just take me there.
Who is it?
Alice.
Come in, dear. Oh, Miss Lane. I thought you'd left.
No, I'm still here, Mrs. Richards. I thought perhaps you'd like to tell me how you arranged the disappearance of Alice's diamond.
I beg your pardon?
How did you make the diamond disappear, and where is it?
Alice, what is this?
I don't know, Aunt Margaret.
Alice knows nothing about this. Now, would you care to return the diamond to her, or would you like me to call the police?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You look like you do. I'll give you 10 seconds to produce the diamond, or I'll call the police.
You won't call anyone, Miss Lane.
Oh, so you're in on it, too.
Close the door, John.
Yes, I'm in on it. Are you surprised?
No, not terribly. Stop pointing that gun at us, or can't you handle two women without a gun?
Not the way I've got to handle you two.
Where's Kent, John?
He left. I saw him go out.
He'll be back.
Maybe yes, maybe no. But it'll be too late. You won't be able to tell him much.
Don't talk so much, John. Do it and let's get away from here.
All right, stand behind me.
Miss Lane, what's he going to do?
He's going to kill us.
Aunt Margaret.
Do it, John.
You first, Alice.
No, God!
How about letting me have it first, John?
Okay, pal.
Try again. That's all for you, sonny boy.
All right, Clark, I'm listening. How did you know they were behind it all?
Well, you heard their confession.
Yes, but...
They planned to steal the diamond months ago, but the problem was disposing of it.
Yes?
That's how Corelli got into the picture. They framed an elaborate scheme for making it look like it was stolen, even to the story about the tall, blonde burglar.
I see.
But we threw a monkey wrench into the works when we dug up Corelli's record. You see, they were afraid he might implicate them if we cornered him. So they shot him between 9:30 when I called Mrs. Richards and 10 o'clock when John found his body.
Yeah, I know all that, but what I don't know...
Patience. Now, wait a minute. Corelli, before he was murdered, either had built or built himself a metal mold in the shape of the diamond.
But why?
The morning of the masquerade party, they filled the mold with clear water and froze it solid, probably with the gold chain attached.
Oh,
A few moments before Mrs. Richards presented it to Alice, it was removed from the mold and brought in.
Uh-huh.
When John turned the lights out, she ripped it from the chain and dropped it into the fountain bowl where it melted.
Well, sure. And you figured all that out just because the plush box and the gold chain were cold?
Well, that started me thinking.
Well, it's remarkable.
Huh?
Now, wait a minute. Just tell me one more thing.
What?
That horrible brat, John, he fired 2 shots at you. How did he miss?
How...
I know. It wasn't you at all. It was Superman. Or was it?
Huh?
Clark, please tell me.
What?
Was it you in that costume, or was it Superman?
That, Miss Lane, you'll have to figure out all by yourself.
And so ends The Diamond of Death on The Adventures of Superman, which come to you now each week at this same time over many of these same ABC stations. Listen again next week when Superman solves another baffling mystery adventure. Superman is a copyrighted transcribed feature appearing in Superman DC comic magazines and brings you radio's most fabulous character in thrilling stories of action, mystery, and adventure. So be sure to listen when you hear the familiar cry...
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
The role of Superman is played by Bud Collyer, Lois Lane by Joan Alexander. Music is composed and played by John Garth. This is Jackson Beck reminding you to be sure to listen next week to The Adventures of Superman. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
That was Superman with the episode titled The Diamond Death, as originally heard December 17th, 1949. I'll be back with more in just a moment. Welcome back to Classic Radio Rewind. With October beginning in just a few days, so does the preparation of Old Time Radio USA's Halloween Spooktacular event. I will be talking more about the specials and marathons planned for Halloween Spooktacular in future episodes. Plus, Classic Radio Rewind episodes for the month of October will feature all Halloween comedies and horror to prepare you for Old Time Radio USA's upcoming Halloween tradition. Both Classic Radio Rewind October episodes and Old Time Radio USA's Halloween Spooktacular are things that you will want to mark your calendars for and not miss. All 4 stations on the WOTR radio network are free of charge. Nothing to sign up for, No monthly subscriptions, just plain old everyday free. So check it out. More information can be found on our website at WOTRradionetwork.com. And with that, wraps up this edition of Classic Radio Rewind. As always, I do thank you for listening, and I hope that you can join us next week when we begin our Halloween episodes. So, for Classic Radio Rewind and the WOTR Radio Network, this is Barry Slinker saying goodbye for now.
Classic Radio Rewind is a production of the WOTR Radio Network. For more Classic Radio Rewind, and to listen to any of the WOTR Radio Network stations, go to www.wotrradionetwork.com.